So let me talk about what the problem we are solving, right? You would have seen the video for 2 minutes. The problem that we are trying to solve is fundamentally very unique. And Rasa has been here, smiling. We talked this about 3 years ago. But every child is very unique, and there is no way we can provide great individual personalized attention to each child in classroom. Right? It's not possible for a teacher to go to every learner and see what he is doing, give the instruction, give the question, give examples, give explanations, using the style and label the child is acting. Right? That's another problem. Right? So I'm going to talk about as to the research that we are doing related to this topic. If human led is not possible, then what can we do? Is there a technology that should be there? Are there some new pedagogical method that we should be doing? So that's what I'm going to talk about. Next please. Next please. So the first area of research for us, especially from pedagogy perspective, is defining our own taxonomy. Right? You have done your education courses, you are experts in this area. We decided, we as a country and we as a small company, will decide our own taxonomy. How children learn and how various children learn. So that taxonomy is what we call contour taxonomy. So on horizontal axis, what you are seeing is cognitive learning dimensions which you all are familiar. Remember to create, right? So the lowest level of learning scale that we all know is what we call Ratna, right? Remembering. The next level we keep talking about and we see curriculum and books is application problem with how this concept has been done by child, has he really understood, is he able to apply, is he not able to apply, and so on and so forth. But the highest level of cognitive learning related to any concept is critical thinking or creativity, right? So when we talk about creativity averages or creativity congruency or creativity in linear education, what does it mean? Is there a global standard to be creative in linear education or creativity in congruency, right? Or development of evaluation and analysis skill, for example in algebra, right? So the truth is there is no global standard available at this point to be able to define personalized curriculums or curriculums across this spectrum. And that is one area of research we are engaged in. Next please. So for example, next please. So I will just give a couple of illustrations. Just hold on. Go back. Yeah, right. So what it means is various learners in classrooms, all of them are very unique, right? So a learner might be good at application and recall, when there could be some other learners who might be pretty good at analysis and critical thinking. Do we know, is it mandatory for a child to be having remembering and application skills or to be having creative skills? We all don't know. Until you do research on chemical kits and figure out a hypothesis in that box, right? So our job is here to define this taxonomy and map curriculum across various learning levels, etc., etc. So now let's take the concept of triangles congruency in mathematics and talk about as to what child needs to have learn if he has to develop understanding. And let's see how it happens. Click on that please. So we have seen tons of books globally, right? So when we each concept of congruency in triangles, we will give triangles, CFO, all that, right? So here is very small illustration as to how concept of congruency in triangles or for that matter in any shapes is being reinforced in a child which is at that level, which is 2 pyramids, right? Give 3 pyramids and ask him to identify how can they be congruent, right? Bookish knowledge talks about triangles, sides being equal, angles being equal, they could be congruent. Ask him to identify how can these pyramids be congruent, right? Base has to be congruent, its height has to be congruent. Ask him to give differentiation, ask him to create conceptual understanding of and derivations of congruency concepts for those shapes, right? So that is the level of competency you need to develop in children if you want to make them innovative, right? Let's take another example. Go back, click on this. Alright, so this is the example of evaluation and analysis skill again on concept of triangles, right? The example here is a child is playing on this hemispherical sort of structure and he has been asked to go from point A to B, right? And a grade 9 child is being asked to demonstrate and prove and show that the shortest path for him to jump or to go from point A to point D is AD straight line. Again, it is a very higher order application, analysis, evaluation competency that we need to develop in child. Now, which child needs this? Which child needs that understanding? Which child needs critical thinking? Which child needs to remember skills? We are serving exactly the same thing for every child, which is detrimental to their cognitive abilities. Right? So let's go back. Right. This is another example of critical thinking. How many of you, for example, would have thought, I think some of you are mathematics people here, again concept of triangle and congruency with this kind of example. Here, now I will read, in the interest of time. The question here is, there is a window that carpenter is getting, and there are three triangles which are congruent, and there is a top triangle which is not congruent. Now the question is, what should carpenter do to make all triangular openings in this window congruent? This is the question which is being asked to grade 9 child. This requires thinking. This requires hard work. Should we dismantle all these two sides? Should we completely dismantle the window? And the question is, the effort done by him should be reached. Right? This is a synthesis skills that our children need to develop. Right? It is not about scoring marks and doing understanding and application level skills actually. Right? So, coming back to our taxonomy, go back to taxonomy. Right? So, we are defining that personalized learning for each child and the different curriculum for every subconcept, different cognitive levels for every subconcept, and mathematics as an example needs to be formulated how. And we will take it global. We will do a global standard for society. Right? Now, the next one is, while we define this taxonomy, how to take different children from one point to another point. Next, please. Next, please. So this is a child which is kind of slowest child, so to speak. Now, in this curriculum framework or in this taxonomy, this child has to eventually go from least difficulty at remember, understand level to all levels. So if there are 30 to 50 questions, for example, to learn this, he has to go through all of them. So this is the case, this is the example of the child who really is struggling. He has to go through the largest possible path of learning for him to develop desired level of competency that curriculum is asking him to do. Right? Next please. Next please. This is the child who is doing super. Why does he need to go to the same path? He is a very different child. His learning path, the highest possible level of competency achievement here is creativity. Again, in the concept of algebra, in the concept of congruency, in the context of triangles, in the concept of mathematics, in the concept of commercial mathematics, and so on and so forth, right? At sub-concept level. Imagine a world where every small sub-concept has been broken into this taxonomy, and there are different learning paths for each learner, and each learner is taking those paths. Is it possible humanly? Answer is no. Next, please. Next, please. So this is the three children. And the objective is to have higher order thinking capability in that subconcept, but the path to reach there is different for each child. And that path traversal will happen through this taxonomy, right? And that taxonomy definition takes very large amount of effort and work. And you can make hypotheses, you can refine it, you can collect data from thousands of millions and millions of data points and again refine what you are assuming. For example, we assume what is the relationship between geometry and mathematics? We have been studying this, right? So we said, okay, let's make some assumptions, go to the field, get output from 5,000 kids and figure it out, what is the relationship? And then define the taxonomy. That's the kind of research we are doing. Next, please. Now, having defined taxonomy at a sub-concept level is one thing, but how various knowledge pieces in the subject universe are interrelated, that is what ontology. And we are very deeply engaged in building our own ontology for mathematics curriculum. Right? For example, you would see mathematics at the center. I'm not sure if you are seeing the screen. But as I was talking about, how, for example, understanding of arithmetic is important for algebra. The concept of algebra, how it is related with trigonometry, which structure concept within algebra is related to higher order trigonometry and so on and so forth. So when a child is struggling, let's say grade 9 child is struggling in the concept of trigonometry, what is the lower level, what is the previous grades competency which are the prerequisite for him to be able to achieve that competency can only happen when we have ontology framework at a concept level defined. So that is ontology. Next please. Yeah. Next please. Right. So this is very important. See, it is important. It is good to define a curriculum, questions, content, books. But what it means to define the misconceptions and learning deficiency at a smallest level. So, for example, in the concept of exponent next. In the concept of exponents, our team identified around 150 learning misconceptions that our children are struggling in this country. 150, just grade 9 kids. 150 type of misconceptions, and that is probably only 60 to 70% what we have captured. Right? So how to do remediation of that? Right? First to identify them, have intervention for that, right? And then remediation hopefully will come. Right? Next please. So all of this is not possible humanly. Humanly it is not possible for you to go to every child, do intermediation, do remediation, have personalized curriculum and things like that. So Contour is a technology platform which helps us in that. And last 1 minute, I think it is a humongous task to help child one-on-one to a machine. Machine needs to be very intelligent, right? We as humans are gifted, so we can understand what child is saying, but we cannot be with every child. So the best solution to help each learner is one human for every child. But one human for every child is not possible. Therefore, all research in AI, machine learning and NLP we are doing, and I will not talk about this, is to be close to what is possible for one-on-one and then assist teachers and students and everybody else. Thank you very much.